I've been coordinating a network that was called Dialogue on Governance to develop sustainable forest landscapes for production of wood for energy and the bioeconomy. And the products we created were 4 online video sessions with larger number of knowledgeable speakers. The first session was about the more general governance tools to address sustainable forest management at a national level. Next, it was about verification of sustainable biomass. The third one was about carbon and climate, forest carbon and climate. And the last one was about underpinning the policies and the guidelines with the research. So it's out there on the SNS website. There are also some virtual field tours. Some were specifically recorded to underpin the workshops, and others are existing videos that we found useful to learn about the forest in the different countries that were involved. And the benefits of this network was really the dialogue among very different actors. So across all these geographies, again, the Nordic, Baltic countries, Southeastern Europe and North America, but also across policy, forest management and research. And we wanted to bring people together around this topic about sustainable forest bioenergy and the bioeconomy to see what are the different views from all these different sectors, because it's important to know as a researcher what your knowledge can be used for, how to apply it, also to understand better how to make it useful, because while you conduct your research, you might make choices that makes it more or less useful for end users later on. When you're collaborating in the Nordic countries, you expand tremendously. At least for Denmark, you expand the geographical area and also the types of ecosystems. It means that you see how different things can be in different places, and you realize that the mechanisms are not the same everywhere. So you get that larger sense of another scale and what happens in another scale than your own tiny country. And in fact, not only in this European Union project that was created with seed funding from SNS, that also had participation from researchers from different disciplines, so people in economics, forest engineering, biodiversity, biogeochemical cycling. So that was really useful also to get the whole context geographically, but also across disciplines. So it had tremendous value, I would say. So the benefits for me as a researcher to be part of an audit network has really been also to be part of a community, a research community that was more than an empty shell. And especially starting up as a PhD student, that's extremely important. I can see it also today with my own PhD student, and especially during the pandemic, the lack of this community, scientific community, has been really one of the most difficult things for them. And I think often you work with quite specific topics, and there might not be so many in your own country working exactly with that topic. And expanding that to the Nordic countries and having that larger community to discuss your work and put it in context, that was just extremely important. Another thing has, of course, been also then when you develop the collaboration to publish papers together, which often give a lot of interesting results compared to maybe having a more narrow geographical focus. It also means that you get to present your work in different workshops and conferences. You're invited as a speaker. You develop your thinking. You have people that you know very well that you can quickly call and say, do you want to be part of research proposal to create more funding. So your all your work as a researcher is really it, it helps you to do your work basically as a researcher to have that network. It's extremely important. I would say that that the people we got together, it was more than 40 speakers and hundreds, I think almost 300 participants that listened across these sessions. Um, and I would say it expanded really, even if I've been collaborating in a Nordic Baltic context for many years, this really expanded my context also within the Nordic and Baltic countries. And hearing more about what's going on, especially at policy level and management level, certification systems. Um, so that was really a tremendous benefit to listen to all these views and the experiences that are in all the sectors, and having that come together in such a way. I would say now we have expanded our network compared maybe to the more narrow Nordic or Nordic Baltic networks. We did discuss already when we were doing the workshops that it would be interesting to collect data from across the Nordic, Baltic countries and North America, and maybe also further down in Europe in temperate and boreal forest ecosystems to do analysis across the continents. We also believe some interesting maybe patterns and differences could come out that do not come out when you only analyze data from the Nordic Baltic states. And I would say it's a network that has created also a basis for making new work, new applications with new people in a new context. We haven't gotten to that yet. I mean, we need the resources, and then you need some person that takes the initiative. But the basis is certainly there, and we've seen it before. That certainly when there's an opportunity, you have this network, and you can fairly quickly get people together around something because you already have a common understanding of the topic which you developed in, even if it was just like an annual network and four sessions. Some kind of common understanding develops every time you have a dialogue around something. With this network, we did create a very rich amount of resources. It's on there on the SNS website, so please just use it.